Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon and Descendant. I hope you're well. Using the Hush Tarot today. So let's have a look and see what it's got in store for you. What's happening with Taurus at the moment, please? What's that October for Taurus? We've two cards that have come out together. We've got the Queen of Swords in reverse and we've also got the Eight of Cups. That's an interesting pairing. Let's see your recent past for your current energy. We have the Five of Wands. Interesting. And for what's coming out, we have the Sun. Awesome. So an end to some difficult energies that you've been experiencing. At the bottom of the deck we've got the Ten of Pentacles, followed by the Seven of Wands and the Six of Cups. Okay, let's get some clarifiers and we'll see what this is all about. Okay, I'm going with the John Bauer to clarify. Tell me about the Queen of Swords and the Eight of Cups in reverse, please. We have the Two of Wands. And we have the Six of Swords. Yeah, that's where I thought that was going. Awesome. Just notice there you are at the bottom of the deck. Could I have some clarifiers for the Five of Wands, please? We have the Ten of Pentacles again. Amazing. And one more for the Five of Wands. And the Devil. That's interesting energy. That's the card of Capricorn in the Major Arcana. And then let's have a look at the Sun. The Sun here. Ooh. We've got the Nine of Swords in reverse. We've also got the Lovers in reverse, which is interesting. I'm going to pull one more card for that. Ace of Pentacles. Tremendous. We've got the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. It feels like there's some really fundamental shifting going on with you here, Taurus. Things are changing. And I don't feel like it's necessarily with any major conscious input from you. It seems like your perception is starting to shift about things, right? We've got this Ace of Swords at the bottom of this deck here, which talks about new insight. It can talk about the truth of a situation, right? And we've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse, not in reverse, underneath even. The Five of Pentacles talks to me very strongly of not meeting your own needs. And I think that the epiphany that you are having at the moment, the new truth that you are understanding, is that in a lot of ways, you, Taurus, personally, have been the one who has not met your own needs. And in fact, for a lot of time, you expended a lot of energy in trying to find someone who would fill those needs for you, would fulfill those needs for you, right? It feels like the penny is finally dropping that you are in control of everything. Your reactions, your actions, everything. This is cool. I like this. And it's one thing to intellectually know this. It's very different to feel it. And I feel like that's the shift. That's what's happening, right? It's like it's not just up here now. It's deep within you, this shift, this turning of focus. You feel like that. You feel like you're in control of things now in a way that you weren't before. Instead of kind of trying to control things in every single which way except, you know, the one that was actually going to yield positive results for you. It's like you've relinquished control of a lot of things that you've realized that you hadn't really any business in trying to control. And you've made it all about you, which is what it should be, right? This Ten of Pentacles here talks about commitment and stability. It's that along with the Ace of Pentacles, two cards that I'm always really delighted to see for Taurus, because your own stability, your security, and what it is that you've built around you, it's really important for that to be stable, right? And you're not controlling it now, but it is in and of itself. It's funny, actually. I went on a trip with my kids the other day, because I'm teaching them at home now, right? And we went to do a little home education trip to Victoria Tunnels, which is in a city not far away from us. And it was built originally as a wagonway for coal, but then it was used as an air raid shelter in the Second World War. And they said that it was so well built that it's actually getting stronger over time, right? There's nothing really happening to it, it's just compacting down, right? Its age and the quality of its construction is such that it just gets stronger and stronger over time. And that's what I'm feeling here when I'm looking at this bridge here, right? It's not taking the conscious effort from you. The way that you've laid the bricks, the way that you have looked at the quality of the materials that you've used, and the roadmap that you've used to get to this place, the instructions, the blueprint, if you will, for the bridge is so good, is of such quality that now it needs very little from you to get it stronger. It's just doing it all by itself. And the way in which you needed to defend yourself in the past, that protect yourself, like you see it for the rather fruitless endeavour that it was. You see the ways in which it actually drained you of energy rather than filled you up. Ooh, this is wonderful. I love this. Right. Peeved about this fucking traffic. Just trying to sit with the window open because it's raining and I like the sound of the rain. So, I've lost my thing. There it is. In your recent past, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse and we have the Eight of Cups. Now, this Queen of Swords could refer to a person that you have been dealing with, and if you have been dealing with such a person, ouch, because this is kind of like stone cold bitch energy right here, right? This is, in the upright, she's someone who's very, very preoccupied with notions of justice and fairness and facts, not so much emotions, right? But it's not because she doesn't feel them, it's because she understands that in order to kind of sift the wheat from the chaff and find the truth of any situation, sometimes subjective emotional perceptions of situations don't really help you find that truth, right? She's actually a pretty good ally to have on board. She's a card of Libra. She's come up in the reverse. And so where she is preoccupied with truth and justice and fairness this way up, she's now not interested in those things. She speaks very coldly. She's very, very emotionally closed, right? There's no interest in anything of an emotional nature, but there's also no interest in getting to the truth of the matter. This is somebody who speaks to wound, right? If you have been dealing with a person like that, not only are you moving away from them physically, but you have moved away from them in an emotional sense as well. Like, you have stopped internalizing what has been projected from this person to you, right? You understand it for what it is, and you're like, I don't want a part of this, thank you very much, I am off. And rather than looking for a way to make it your fault, which is something that you would do, that's what internalization is, of other people's projection, you take on the responsibility of it, you take on the burden of it, you try and carry all of the weight. You're like, no, this is not my responsibility, I'm walking away from it. If you don't have someone like that around you who fits that characterization, then what this could well indicate is a period of kind of internal reckoning where you are taking on responsibility for the ways in which you have projected toward other people, right? This is a really important step in shadow work. A lot of people kind of miss the point of this, right? It's very easy to sit back and go, right, I am like XYZ because my mother was a narcissist, or my father ignored me, or cold and distant. I'm just throwing these out as examples. Obviously not all of you are having this as a thing. But that's only the first step in the process. The second step, or maybe a couple of steps down the way actually, is kind of looking at your own behavior and seeing that because you were raised in these circumstances, because these were your active, examples, these were your role models, this is then what you took and went out into the world with, right? So not only did you suffer, but potentially you cause suffering to others by perpetuating this cycle before you acknowledge that it was a thing. Now, I think this is beautiful because this speaks to some really deep work that you've been doing, Taurus. It talks about you taking responsibility for the right things. But more than that, right, it's... The reason why it's so difficult is because there's a really fine line to tread between taking responsibility for something and using it as a stick to beat yourself with, right? We know, I can just say that outright, and you would know that one is good and one is bad, and quite likely you would be able to support somebody who was going through the same thing, and when they started airing off towards a direction that looked like they were, beating themselves for how they have been with other people at times, you'd be like, dude, pull it back, be kinder to yourself. You see it now, and that's the important thing, right? But you've been notoriously bad at extending that same courtesy to yourself. Well, I see you extending this courtesy to yourself now, right? And it's come with wisdom, with experience and with all of that massive work that you've done this year. You now see all of these things. You're taking responsibility for the right things, or at least you're on the path to take responsibility for the right things. And you're no longer taking responsibility for those things that you should not have in any respect, right? It's very mature energy. It's very evolved energy. It's very high vibrational energy. And I am so happy to see this for you. This is in your recent past. I don't know how many of you have actually been aware that this is consciously something that you've done, because like I said, a lot of this has been going along in the background. But because you took the right steps at the right time and you applied yourself, we know you're not scared of hard work at all, you applied yourself in the right way. It's like all of this stuff is kind of happening without you having to sit down with a notepad and write down, all the ways in which you have hurt or wounded or projected onto other people throughout your entire life. Like, that is not a necessary bit of the process. It's taking the themes and going, right, I see that, I understand that, I'm not going to do that anymore. I am older, I am wiser, and I am going to, shift the way that I deal with things moving forwards. Now, the cards that came out to clarify that were the Two of Wands there, the Six of Swords, and the Ten of Pentacles. And I feel like, whether you realised it or not, you hit a crossroads a little while back. Right? It's felt like it's been, 2020 has been, the most monumental shit show that anybody could have possibly predicted. And actually the astrologers did predict it for fucking centuries. They've known that this year is going to be destabilizing, right? And how interesting that it should be then, that particularly with the subset of people, of the signs that I have been specifically talking to this year, they are doing the work. They are doing the work to raise the consciousness collectively across the board, right? Because everything's been destabilizing around you, and the only thing really that you are able to cling to at this point is you, right? When you don't know who you are, when bits of you are in control that you're not even fucking aware of, you're not aligned with your energy, you don't know who you are, and like I said, you'll be perpetuating those cycles to which you have been subject in the past. Now, you're not doing that anymore. You are becoming a very stable, very, very emotionally mature, very evolved Taurus, right? And the world is fucking ready for it. The world needs it. But somewhere along the line, you were at a crossroads, and I don't think you even realised it. And because you chose this higher path, because you chose this evolved way of approaching it, because you took responsibility, and because you were brave enough and strong enough to put your head down and do this work, you're going to start reaping the benefits. Well, I think actually a lot of you are reaping the benefits already. Like, you feel different to how you felt maybe even 4 or 5 months ago, but certainly at the beginning of the year. There's a sense here that not only can you depend on yourself, but others can depend on you. And where you used to carry people, you don't do that anymore, right? The people that wouldn't do the work, you'd stick them on your back and you'd carry them along with you until you got to the point of utter exhaustion and your legs went out underneath you, and then they scampered off and went, yeah, see you later, I'm off. And you were left there like, I am inside out, like I can't move. I need someone to give me some food, you know how you Taurus love your food. You know, you were at the point of utter emotional and physical exhaustion, and then that person just fucked off and left because they were taking advantage of you. You're not doing that anymore. You're there providing gentle support for those people who need it, but not overextending into that. You're not over-investing in people, because actually you kind of deprive them of the ability to go through that maturation process themselves if you are constantly there and never letting them kind of test their Bambi legs out, you know, those who actually wish to. But those who can't move, those ones who can't carry themselves, through no fault of their own, you are there and you can scoop them up and put them on your back and go, right, I'll carry you for a little bit until you can manage for yourself. And those people are reciprocating in some way. They may not have your strength, they may not be able to carry you, but there's some level of reciprocation that's going on there with the people that are around you. I think it's like a lot of the toxic bastards that were in your life for quite a long time have just kind of peeled off to the wayside, like they're gone. And you chose this. I'm so proud of you, Taurus, I can't even tell you. You picked your path and you went down it, right? And you took the experience with you. You didn't take the swords, right? 6 of Swords, there's usually got swords all over it, and there's water and there's all sorts of shit going on. And this John Bauer, I really, really like this, right? Because we've got this woman and she's walking off in the snow, right? There are no swords in sight anywhere, but she's bleeding, like she's leaving bloody footprints in the snow. I don't know if you can see there, right? But she's gone. She is going. She may be wounded, but she knows that she can't stay where she is, right? She's got to get herself to safety, and it's down to her. She is responsible to do that, and that's what she's doing, and that's what you did. But you didn't take anything with you that could wound you even more. You broke those patterns, those thought patterns that you used to knife yourself over and over again with, you know, years and years after these situations were well completed. You were stuck in a loop, right? Here you are running away from that loop. Even though you're wounded and you're leaving bloody footprints in the snow, you did the right thing for you. And now, you know, there's the 10 of Pentacles again. You're building something that is right for you. Now, that's not to say what was before was not right for you, because there was I want to say a lesson, but kind of a lesson. There was a lesson for you in there about conserving your energy, about breaking thought patterns, about taking responsibility for the way that you think and you feel about things, you know. And for some of you, discovering the simple pleasure of being able to sit and not feel self-conscious, you know. There's been it's like a crumbling of a toxic ego that you had, right? And hear me out here, I'm not criticizing you at all, but something that is inherent within people who tend to internalize everything is putting themselves right in the center of what any given situation is. So when they overinvest in something and then they get rejected, they immediately make it about them. And sometimes it's not about you, right? And this, it's come across in the past as neediness, right? That's the problem. That's the bit that you didn't see when you were kind of stuck in this thought pattern here. right? Because you were kind of always looking to other people to reassure you about something. That part of you is gone, right? You're not putting yourself in the middle of other people's, you know, shit. You're just not doing it, right? There's an element of sort of staying a bit more in your own lane, for the want of a better phrase. It's about pulling your energy back to you, pulling your power back to you, and acting accordingly, not reacting to something that you think is there, some sort of perceived slight, you know, some sort of judgment from someone else that has never been expressed, but you've kind of inputted into this because you're overthinking the entire situation, right? I really like this for you, Taurus. I've got to say, it feels so peaceful. You feel peaceful now, and you haven't felt, well, increasingly actually recently you have felt like that, but the difference between where you are now and where you were at the beginning of this year is palpable, absolutely astonishing. So, there's a thing actually. The 10 of Pentacles was actually for the 5 of Wands, but that's fine. We'll pull another card for that actually, because the 5 of Wands talks about, it can talk about conflict and it can talk about competition. And this is in your current energy, right? It's clarified, like I said, it was actually clarified by the 10 of Pentacles and the Devil. I'm going to stick that 10 of Pentacles to the side because it actually felt like it fit in really well with what I was talking about there. And I'm going to pull another card for this. Where's the deck gone? I do this every single time. I put the deck down and then for some reason I just get like deck blindness and I can't remember what it even looks like. Just this light is really bad. There we go, that's improved it a little bit. What about this 5 of Wands? What is Taurus feeling conflicted about? Oh, 5 of Wands is clarified by the 5 of Wands, right? There's some sort of conflict at the moment. And with the Devil energy here, it could be a Capricorn that you're in conflict with. For some of you, that's possible. For others of you, this is sort of about... The Devil talks to me about fear, right? It talks about codependency and toxicity and abuse and substance abuse and emotional abuse and all of those things, right? But it does talk about fear, ultimately. It can, on the flip side, because it does have a positive side. It can talk about the material world in all respects, you know. And so, to that end, the act of creating something falls under the purview of the Devil, you know. Whatever you take from an idea or something like that and you create it in front of you, that's Devil energy too, and that's something that doesn't get covered very often, I don't think. Tell me about this 5 of Wands, please. There we go. Knight of Wands. Three of Wands. So you're feeling a little bit conflicted at the moment, but I don't feel like it's a serious conflict, and I don't actually think it's really with anyone outside of you. It feels like a bit of an internal conflict as you stand at the moment. There's some planning for the future that you are trying to do, right? Whether it's changing the circumstances that you find yourself in right now, or whether it's something that you want to achieve in the future. There's some sort of conflict surrounding it. And this Devil energy here could speak to you being, you know, a little bit frightened about the changes that you need to make, because we know that you don't really like change that much. And any changes you do make generally are implemented very slowly, you know, in a stepped progression kind of way. You know, plant the seed, nurture it, look after it, wait for it to turn into a big tree. It could be that. Or it could be that just notice that the Ace of Wands is at the bottom of the deck here. It could be that there is something that requires a level of creativity from you to bring it into, you know, existence. And you're not quite sure how to do it. The 5 of Wands can talk about competition, right? Artistic and creative competition. There's the fucking Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck again. Tell me about this devil energy. Why is this devil energy here? We've got the Hermit and the Eight of Wands. Tell me about the Five of Wands. Why is the Five of Wands here, please? Eight of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Wands is clarified by the Devil again. And what's the problem with this Three of Wands? Ten of Swords. King of Pentacles, there you are. Knight of Pentacles. Right. I think that this is referring to some sort of change in your material existence right now, right? There are changes that you need to make in the here and now, and you're not feeling terribly confident about making them, right? There's a little bit of resistance here. You know that you are perfectly capable of implementing these changes, and you know, I'm delighted to see that you're not feeling trapped by your own mind here, right? You're not stuck in this state of being like, I can't do anything, but you are feeling slightly conflicted. The Devil's here twice, and I don't feel like it's actually dangerous, toxic energy. I feel like it's resistant energy. And I think that what you are experiencing at the moment is kind of like a slow probing of your internal space, because you're trying to work out exactly what this resistance is. This is fascinating. Right, we've got the Ten of Swords here, which speaks to an end, and we've got you there as the King of Pentacles, and we also have the Knight of Pentacles, right? It feels like you just kind of got yourself on a level, and now you need to change things, and you're not terribly comfortable doing it, right? This Knight of Wands is quite spontaneous energy, and that is as far from you as it's possible to get, right? It's Sagittarius, speaks of no commitment, you know, that sort of thing. And there's something, I had one word come to me when I was doing the premeditation before I started this, and it was destabilization. Right? Just the one word, destabilization, and I was like, oh, what's that about? And this is it, right? You've got yourself where you are comfortable. Right? You've done so much work. You know where you are. All of your foundations are, you know, bedding in nicely. Everything's getting stronger. And now all of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, maybe this has been creeping along for a little bit, you are being called to make changes to your immediate environment, and you are not terribly comfortable doing it. The thing is, with this Knight of Pentacles here, I think maybe you're being called to make changes faster than you're comfortable with. It feels like something's come to an end, and you want something new to start. Where did I see that Ace of Pentacles? It was somewhere, wasn't it? Oh, it's here. It's right at the end there. Like, you don't like to move until you know that you've definitely got somewhere to move from, right? So almost imperceptible movements is the way that you like to move, right? Just like the Ents in Lord of the Rings, who went just really slowly with everything. And that's earth energy at its finest, right? But you're being asked to make changes faster than you would like. You're not really very happy about it because you want to make these changes slowly. And at the same time, that there is this kind of spectre of resistance that you are aware of now, because you are very self-aware, that you're kind of probing and trying to work out what it's about. The thing is, you're being called to do this, even this probing, faster than you would like. And it's kind of starting to worry you a little bit. Thing is, Taurus, I don't think you've really got anything to worry about, because what's coming towards you in October is the Sun, right? Now that is the card of Leo in the Major Arcana, But it's a card that speaks of great joy and positivity, right? It talks about things all fucking working out very nicely indeed. Thank you very much. But what I like about this in the Hush Tarot is that we've got this big eye in the middle of the sun. And I like this because for me, the sun indicates the consciousness, where the moon, beg your pardon, indicates like the non-conscious, the subconscious, right? This is about you seeing all options. It's like nothing being hidden from you at all. You know, sunlight is the best disinfectant, they say. And the fact that there's an eye in the middle of the sun, I feel like you are so in tune with, you know, the hidden bit of you that it's not really even hidden anymore. Like you've built that bridge between what is going on inside and what you are aware of. And that is a place that you can go visit and you can go talk to them, right? You're going to get to the bottom of what your resistance is, and it's going to, I feel like it might surprise you, actually. It'd be something that you didn't quite expect. But once you notice it, once you see it, then you understand it. Observation is processing, right? And it stops having quite so much of an effect on you, right? We've got the Nine of Swords here, in reverse, with the Lovers in reverse. Now this is quite interesting because like this is quite positive this way up, and this way, this one in the reverse kind of makes me go, ooh, what's that about? But it's coming out of a fear of a low-level perception that you have had that actually you maybe can't change things that way you want to. Like this resistance is doubt. Right, you have intellectually known things, you're starting to feel them properly now, but here comes a situation that's giving you an opportunity to kind of flex this newfound, you know, sense of self that you have, this new ability you have to manifest what you like, be in charge of your own, you know, shit, your own happiness, take responsibility, all that. And it's kind of made you go, whoa, shit, but it's baseless. It is baseless, and you are going to understand that very clearly by the time October is out, right? It's kind of like the last vestiges of doubt. And like I said, it's sitting somewhere that you don't expect. It's going to present in a way that you don't expect. When you look at it, you go, oh, that's really daft. Why did I feel like that? This is how it feels. Because then you've got your Ace of Pentacles, right? There is your movement. These two characters here on this card, I really like this, are depicted later on in the Chariot, right? Except that this little boy, instead of leading this big beast here, is actually sitting on the back of the big beast. And that feels like a gaining of momentum, because at this point you're just a little boy kind of trying to pull your subconscious bull self along, right? And I feel like in the month of October you're going to be able to go, right, do you know where we're going now, big beast? And it'll go, pull the ground, whatever, you know, right? And you're like, banging, I'm going to jump on your back now and save my own legs, right? You're going to be able to do it. This is really interesting. Like, I'm actually really excited about this reading for you. So what I'm going to do now is leave it here. I'm going to go over to Vimeo. If you want to join me over there, the link is in the description box. But I have to say, I really genuinely want you to understand how proud I am of all the work that you have done this year. Like fucking gold star, A+, exemplary work for you, you know? But remember that it's an ongoing process. It's never done, right? There's always something to reflect on. There's always something to work through. But you're at a point of proficiency now where this work occurs much more swiftly. And you're going to get to the point where it's possible that you can do this on the fly as you are doing things, right? Probably never going to get to fire sign level with your spontaneity, right? But you can certainly get to the point where you don't have to get, 6 months down the line past something before you go, okay, right, I understand what I was doing there, right? This process is speeding up for you now, and you just need to trust it. Trust yourself, because you're guiding yourself beautifully at the moment. And where you find these pockets of resistance, explore them, see what they have to say, and then put them in the bin. Well, don't put them in the bin. Actually talk to them. Okay, right? I understand why you're feeling resistant. I see that you're trying to protect me, but we're good. We got this, It's really exciting. So, like I said, going to leave it there. Patreon. Vimeo links in the description box. If you're not following me over there, then thank you for sticking with me this long. Know that I love you all very much, and I will see you soon.